America, my name is Osei-Frimpong, and we spent all of those years listening to all of the things Obama can't do. Obama can't, really fight for single-payer health care. He can't really do anything about housing. He can't really do anything about keeping black people in their houses. He can't really, do anything for black people in general. He can't really do anything serious about health care except for this Obamacare, which is going to throw it all to the market. So you still won't know if you have health care or not when you're supposed to have health care, and throw you to the wolves in the form of United Healthcare, but somehow it's supposed to be better because they won't be able to deny you for pre-existing conditions unless an AI tells them to. So we can't expect democracy in terms of internal politics in the Democratic Party. We can't do anything about corporate finance reform. All the things we can't do and shouldn't even fight for because we can't do it. And he was being pragmatic about in his approach of telling us he couldn't do anything to secure us a job, a good job. Instead, we get a stimulus that might go to the same kind of crooked companies that is comfortable hiring people without passports instead of actually hiring Americans with jobs. He couldn't just guarantee us a job. We couldn't have another WPA or CCC. Obama couldn't even deliver us Teach for America, which is already a dubious program, but he couldn't even deliver something like that. And instead of actually drafting the Army Corps of Engineers to fix Flint's water, Obama passed around the hat and sent all those good people drinking leaded water into private charity. All of the things government couldn't do, Obama taught Americans. And then he drafted Americans into the job of making excuses for him. To be a good Democrat was to make excuses for Barack Obama. That was 8 years. 8 years of making excuses for Barack Obama. That was not asking for anything, not holding him accountable, always making excuses for him. And for the Republicans, we're watching Trump just do whatever he wants. I want to take over Canada, maybe Greenland, I don't know. Annex Gaza, sure. Obama wouldn't even talk like that. He didn't have a sense of power. He was teaching, Obama didn't have the nuts to talk like Trump. And I think that's unfortunate. Because at least Americans want someone who believes that we can do things, as opposed to Obama, who taught Americans about small government the other way. Trump is teaching Americans about small government one way by having Elon just gut all of the companies that might investigate Elon. Obama taught Americans small government a different way by just saying government can only do this. We have a problem this big, and I believe government can be the solution for this much of it. That's why you get a little bit more food stamps. Not a job, a little bit more food stamps. We can't do anything about Iraq. We'll just have drone bombings because that's better than actually drafting people. So Obama's half-assed answers and even half-assed questions about government power in fixing Americans' problems, led the way, rolled out the carpet for Trump to talk big with his wall. Even if he doesn't deliver, he actually has the guts to talk big and talk seriousness and get Americans thinking, yeah, maybe we do want a wall. And he's got, we're watching Trump just do whatever he wants. We're watching Trump wield power in a way that Obama taught Americans can't be done. Can't be done. Well, we have to, this is Obama, well, we have to get our judges. I can't do anything about our judges. Now we got Trump advancing. I don't give a fuck about the judges. I don't care. I don't care about the judges. Obama's like, I can't fight for anything because of the judges. I don't care. And then Trump says, I don't care about the judges. Obama says, oh, well, I can't put my judge up because, Merrick Garland, they might take him down or I can't get my judge passed. Trump doesn't care. He gets what he wants. And he shows Americans that part of what being an American is getting what you want. I have to put on my sports goggles because my glasses went through an incident. So the idea that Trump is showing America how power works is a problem. It could have been power for good. Because when you show people how power works, even when you smack them down, it starts the conversation on your terrain. If Obama tried to like execute a federal job guarantee for the sake of, public safety. If he tried to push for something like that, then sure, get it smacked down by the Supreme Court. But you turn the table. You turn the tide of the discussion. Executive orders are not power. Yeah, actually, executive orders are power. Administrative power is real power. But also, so is the Army. So is the Navy. Just so is the bluster is real power. The quality of learned helplessness that Obama kind of inculcated into the Democratic Party, I think pushed away a lot of the doers, the Democratic doers, especially then when you crack down on any protests. So the government can't do anything except crack down on protests. So the government can't do anything except making sure that you don't talk about doing anything. That is Obama's legacy. And Trump's doing the opposite for his people. He's showing that an executive can at least fight for his people and not worry about being popular. Right? So Trump, like Obama came in 2008 with so much goodwill, so much more goodwill than Trump came in 2024 and 2016. Obama came in with so much goodwill and then immediately started talking small to everyone except the car lobby and the big banks, right? He came in with so much goodwill, he could have like quadrupled the size of Acorn just by saying, everyone go out and join Acorn. Instead, he went after Acorn. Obama came in with so much goodwill. He had Obama for America, his own kind of field operation for the 50-state strategy. Except like that wasn't good for his corporate donors, so he pulled it back. I got friends who are working for Obama for America, and then when the phone call came in from the donors saying, all right, close up shop, right? So Obama taught Americans that government is useless, and now Elon Musk is gutting the useless American government. And so you have to understand that I'm going to do a different video on how the culture, American culture, allows a quality of fascism that is not akin to self-government. But that's American culture. We're used to not governing ourselves. We are used to it. We're used to someone else governing, keeping the order while we play the game. Right? We're not used to playing the game and then spending our off season like designing rules and like thinking about who's going to be the refs. We've ceded that power to elites, to Democratic elites and Republican elites. And the Democratic elites wanted us to cede that power to it. Nancy Pelosi didn't want to be accountable to us. She wanted to set the rules of the game and for us to be happy playing her game. And for many of you, you were happy playing her game. You didn't want self-government. You wanted a civil order. Locke talks about this in chapter 2 of the second treatise, chapter 10 of the second treatise, where he talks about, the people's real responsibility is picking the legislators kind of from afar or the government from afar in a democracy. But for the most part, and then if that government doesn't do well by us, we might be able to revolt against it if it doesn't uphold our property rights or anything like that. But for the most part, self-government, actually governing, isn't really something that we should be worried about. So you can have a government of the people, for the people, even if it's not necessarily by the people. All right? And we can elect people who govern, who will decide the rules of the game, who will execute the rules of the game, but letting us play as players. And that's all we really want to do. We just want to play as players, and we don't want the messy business of actually governing. That's what Trump is selling. I mean, that's kind of what Obama was selling as a politician. Obama was a politician who didn't want to govern. And that's kind of what Kamala was selling too. Kamala Harris, I think, was a politician who didn't really sell governance as something that we should do. That's something that we should participate in, like the actual business of governance, because she wasn't concerned with political problems. Government was a show. Let someone else set the rules, and that you could be a player. Like we have these Democrats who are indifferent to governance, pitching themselves to a populace and then making that populace indifferent to governance. There were no big questions the Obama governing apparatus wanted to answer, and there were no big questions that Kamala Harris wanted to even address. So at the end, not only does Obama lose, 1,000 state legislative seats for Democrats across the nation, he made states like, he won Indiana, he won Iowa. He made those kinds of states just throw the whole party away. He made them throw the whole party away, which is absurd. At first, I thought he won Mississippi. Not Mississippi. He would never win Mississippi. I thought he won Missouri because I flashed back to 2008, and he was almost going to win Missouri. But then by the time Missouri came in, everybody else come in, and then it turned out he didn't win Missouri, but he lost it by a hair. But he was this close to winning Missouri, and now Missouri's not anywhere close to being for a Democrat, right? So you have to understand that he governed in such a confusion that he made people want to throw the party away. Obamacare leads to Brian Thompson getting shot. Brian Thompson got shot under Obamacare. And I think Obamacare is actually a really good metaphor for the Obama presidency because it's marginally better than the GOP alternative, although it's still a market-based confusion that ends up with people more confused if they have health care and who to blame for it and what's going on than even the system prior. That's the Democrats. That is the Democrats. You end up more confused about the role of government in your life, even if it's marginally better than the Republican alternative. And that the quality of helplessness Obama taught America is a problem. And it's a political helplessness. We're not supposed to hold leaders accountable because we didn't hold Obama accountable because we weren't supposed to hold Obama accountable. He was not supposed to be primaried. We're not supposed to primary any internal Democrats. We are not supposed to expect standing Democrats like Nancy Pelosi to debate their primary challengers. Someone's running against Pelosi. Saikat Chakrabarti. Double check his name. And he's not going to be able to debate. Yeah, Saikat Chakrabarti is running against Nancy Pelosi. And, I'm trying to get Saikat on the show. He seems like a good guy. I met him once or twice before. He's a stand-up dude. But vote for him or don't vote for him, he should be able to debate Nancy Pelosi. But in Obama's Democratic Party, the elites rule. And it turns out that that's only a half step away from overt fascism. So Obama could have reinstalled, not even reinstalled, he could have refurbished the norms of democratic processes. Instead, he threw the party to the elites and elite concerns, and then the Republicans just finished the job. Elon Musk I feel like Elon Musk is he is the telos, he is the end, he is the direction of American politics. Except when it's a Democrat, it would look like Mark Zuckerberg. Let's say you get a Pete Buttigieg in there, or Kamala Harris even in there, and she gives it all to Mark Cuban. Is that much better? She just gives the whole store to Mark Cuban? She would have. And what would you have said if she did? What would you have said if Kamala Harris just abdicated political responsibility and gave the whole store to Mark Cuban? You would have defended Kamala Harris. You would have. You would have. You know who wouldn't have done that? Bernie Sanders. And you know who wouldn't have done that on the right side? Steve Bannon. So you have to understand that fascism is the end, and fascism is just the melding of corporate and governmental power. The army and the money put together equals, fascism. And that was the Democratic version of it looks like just giving Mike Cuban the securities chair, and the Republican version of it looks like giving Elon Doge. Right? But we don't have the norms to fight against either of those fascisms. The softer version where it's like a cute, cuddly Mark Cuban, or the harder version where it's a Bond villain. And that is a problem. And I think that's a big problem. And if you support people like me talking like this, I think you should go to www.funkyacademic.com, kick in $5, $15, or $50 a month, and keep doing this. And I'll keep doing this. Haven't had a show in a while because, I'm teaching my kids. So I'm coaching my kids' junior high school soccer team, and that's kind of taken up a lot of my mental energy. And I can do that in Elon Musk's America because it doesn't have to do with self-government. It's just, it's just a kid's soccer team. And I can get my happiness from there instead of self-government. And that's what Elon Musk wants. So if you want me to keep doing it instead of drawing my happiness from someplace else, then you need to support me doing it at, $5, $15, or $50 a month. Because I would like to do this too. But I'll just tell you why I haven't had a show in a while is because, I was cutting a bunch of girls from my kids' soccer team. I'm going to do a different show on that because, sports are fascinating for kids. Fascinating for a few different reasons. I'm actually doing at the end of the season, I'm going to cut a whole like Mr. Beast style episode. And so I'm doing little like snippets of it as the days go by, because last year, this team, when my kid wasn't on it, when she was in 5th grade, it's a middle school team, 6th to 8th, this team lost all of their matches and they only scored 2 goals. Cause I'm kind of in the hood side of Athens, and lost all of their matches and only scored 2 goals against the other junior high schools. And this year I want to take them to be the champions, all in 1 year because of good coaching. And so we'll see how that goes. The first game is Thursday. I got hired last week. I'm whipping those young women into shape, and it's going to be interesting. But I am not teaching them helplessness like Obama taught Americans. And you might not agree with me that we spent 8 years making excuses for why the government can't do anything, and now we're spending a lot of time watching Elon Musk cut the government that we were told can't do anything. So that's just one of these we're just watching it in real time. Like, we can pretend that Obama and Trump are governing the same kind of way, with the same kind of power and comfort with using power, but I just don't think it's true. I just don't think it's true. I think Trump knows how to use power more than Obama does, and better. And I think that's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate. I also don't think any of you guys would complain if Kamala Harris just gave the whole store to Mark Cuban, which says something about how we are actually okay with fascism, as long as it's, you got the right dressing. All right. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you. And for the record, are we mad that Elon's in control, or are we mad that Elon's in control doing things we don't want to do? We don't want done. Let's be honest with yourself. Are you mad that Elon's in control, or are you mad that Elon's in control and doing things that you wouldn't want to do? If Elon was in control and were a benevolent fascist, putting up high-speed railing instead of, tunnels, then you'd be like, oh, well, fascism's pretty good. So you have to understand, why are you mad? Why are you mad? And what does it mean? And would you have been as mad if Cuban were doing the same thing? Someone says, Nick Moreno says, come on, man, we'd be just as mad if Cuban was doing the same thing. I don't think you would. I don't think you would. I think you'd be, and not only that, I think you'd be called racist. I think you'd be called all sorts of things. So, you're just gonna have to work that out in the comments. You'd be called misogynistic for now. You're gonna have to work out all this in the comments, and it would be harder to bring up at brunch. That's actually, Andrew Smirker says it would be a harder conversation to have at brunch. That's a very actually clever statement, because he's saying that both ways. We get to go to brunch, and we don't get to, and government becomes just like a pastime. And the back to brunch crowd would be it's a joke that works on a few different levels. It's a joke that works. It would be harder to bring up at brunch. The fact that it's easy to bring up to brunch the fact that as you sip on your mimosa, the fact that Elon Musk is gutting the government. It would be harder to bring up at brunch as you sip your mimosa that when Mark Cuban brings up runs government. But you would be okay with it. All your friends, the lady who launched the Pussy Hat crowd, would be okay with it. They would be just fine with it. Neither way, people, let's be honest, are you missing your mimosa? All right. And with that, I will go. Peace.